Ladies and gentlemen, the hockey world lost a great player today, a top 50 Toronto Maple Leaf. Although some of the choices in his life kind of hurt his career and hurt himself personally, physically, mentally, there was no doubting this guy's talent. A Czechoslovakian superstar that came to North America, defected from the then Czechoslovakian country, the communist country, made a life for himself for the Nordiques, later the Toronto Maple Leafs, again a top 50 statistical Maple Leaf, and he thrilled the fans at the Colisée and the Maple Leafs with his great skill, similar to the Stastny brothers in talent and goal scoring as what he called puck anticipation. They had this. Miroslav Fričer was a superstar, there's no other way to say it, for Czechoslovakia in the Premier League and on the international level for a number of years before he defected in '82 via Bern, Switzerland with members of his family. Now, I'm going to be quoting from a Toronto Sun article in this write-up. All information, what I call narration, goes to them. A very good article culled from some Festcheck information that was printed a couple of years ago. Now, Fričer, he died at age 61 from complications from health problems he had from liver and kidney transplants over the years. Now, this was caused by alcohol abuse in his early years, and he said in published reports, it was his fault. He made bad decisions, but like I said, he was on a good path. He was recently hospitalized in his hometown of Kopareis in the Czech Republic for a blood disorder, and he had been coaching Orli's Rimano in a local league up to last season. Now, he and Peter Idacek and Walt Podobny had one of the best lines for Toronto in the mid-1980s. Actually, was a solid second line as well. Now, Idacek had also defected, but from Slovakia. Now, he came to Toronto after trading with Quebec, who set up his, escape from Czechoslovakia. He excelled with the Leafs and led them in scoring in 85-86 with 75 points. And he had 279 points in the regular season and playoffs for Toronto. Now, eventually left the Leafs in '88 after a public feud with the volatile but talented coach John Brophy. Now, according to Idacek, published reports, I know Miro had been sick, but it's a sad day and I'm in shock, said Idacek, now a Washington Capitals scout based in Prague. I will always have beautiful memories of him because he was there for every goal I scored with an assist. We supported each other. We were very talented. He was a very talented player who made lots out of his life, but could have made much, much more. This is too soon. Now, in a biography with countryman Lubos Barabek, Fričer made no secret of where he went wrong in his life. I was a wild and crazy kid, a cowboy. It was not the best team I was on. I was under a lot of distress, and my lifestyle suffered. Now, big highlights of Idacek, of course, with Toronto upsetting Chicago in the '86 playoffs. But unfortunately, when Brophy replaced Don Maloney as coach, Brophy put a lot more pressure on Fričer. He wanted him to toughen up instead of being creative, and ordered him to dump and chase instead of weave, and one slashed his surgically repaired knee in practice to Proudhon. Now, Fričer said, maybe in a sick way, he was trying to make me a better player. Fričer said of their frequent arguments. John came in every day at 120% and watched that from players too, Idacek said. In good times, he was the nicest guy who'd do anything for you, but if you didn't fulfill his expectations, he was emotional, very up and down. And Miroslav was what you call erratic too. One year he wanted to be skinny, but lost too much weight. The next year he wanted to be fatter. Now, Fričer also played Detroit, of course, and with the Polish Wayne Gretzky Oilers, but chose to finish the '90 playoffs in Europe, despite Glenn Sather's urging to return, and of course he missed that chance to be part of the Messi Stanley Cup in 1990. Now, according to published reports, winning a league title led to a non-stop 2-week party, but when Fričer finally sobered up, he felt awful and was eventually diagnosed with renal failure, possibly genetic, but certainly not helped by his constant biting. Though fortunate that a deceased liver donor was found, he went into surgery with just a 20% chance of revival. Now, he stopped drinking September 10th, 1999, but post-operative medication gradually affected his kidneys, and by May of 2018, one had to be removed. Now, we got a living donor, and his wait time went from 2 years to 2 months, but again, he was on medical monitoring soon after. Now, he told the Toronto Sun Published Report in 2018 he did enjoy his life quite a bit. Now, he said, I'm not scared to talk about my drinking problem. He said, I talk of mine without shame. It's what I have to say puts just one person out drinking. It will have been worth it. He talks about the dangers of drink many times. Now, it was kind of interesting how we left. Now, he dashed when the Czechoslovakian team was staying at a hotel. He turned their backs on him in Bern, Switzerland, and he escaped to a waiting car that was already set up. And again, that was 40 years ago. Now, Friescher knew well about the problems of communism, as his grandfather was seized by the German Gestapo in World War II and never seen again, and was inspired to escape Soviet domination by his parents' experience in the Prague Spring of 1868. Now, again, the Stasies arrived in Quebec before Friescher, and the escape of Friescher included his parents, his wife at the time, and their 10-month-old daughter. Now, what was kind of weird, Quebec eventually traded him to the Leafs pretty well right after he jumped off. So in Quebec, 82, 37 points in 49 games. Now, he became a fan favorite of all places, Franklin, New Brunswick, by playing with the Express that season, where he got 14 points and 11 goals. But 82, he found himself again, like I said, with Toronto, 10 points in 10 games. But he opened up in 83, 55 points in 67 games, and 7 points in the playoffs. Now, 84, injury-riddled, only 10 goals, but 85, he had 55 points, and of course, 86, that great playoff success after that 75-point season. 87, only 15 points in 29 games. 88, 32 points in 38 games, 12 goals, and found himself in Detroit and Edmonton in 89 with 12 goals and 25 points in 37 games. Now, he played in Europe again after the fall of communism with EHC Freiburg of Germany for 2 seasons, Mark Bruneck of Italy for a season, both sides, and ESV Kungsbrunn of the German 3 League. Final NHL totals: 147 goals, 183 assists for 330 points, and it was TJ Vitkovic over 4 seasons, 78-81, 12, 22, 31, 33 goals, with a pretty well a point a game pace over those 4 seasons. Now, born in Ostrava, September 27, 1959. We know when I met Ostrava, nice community. Played for the Czechoslovakia national team, especially at the 1980 Winter Olympics, and finished that term with 1 goal and 3 assists. Now, he also served as head coach again of HC Vitkovic and coach in the Czech Republic and in Italy. He was later the coach of Czech-based ice hockey team, again Orlais Nova, until his death. Now, he leaves Des Moines 2 wives, and their first 2 marriages again ended divorce, but he remarried one of his wives. Now, Friescher died again on April 27th at the age of 61. So it says, published reports, he was married 3 times, and again, his first 2 marriages ended in divorce. My apologies. World level, 1977 at the European Junior Championships, 7 points in 6 games. Played at the World Juniors in 78. played at the World Championships in 79, and the World Juniors as well, Olympic Games 1980, and finally the big senior level World Championships, final international world title tournaments, and European 33 games, 7 goals, 10 assists for 17 points. What was kind of weird as well, ladies and gentlemen, with him, he wasn't scared to take a penalty. If you look at his stats, he would be very protective of his teammates. But I do remember, ladies and gentlemen, even though Toronto had some rough times in that early 80s, especially 82 and 84. The Padubny Inishek Freecher line, I think there was a game that he scored, I think it was 10, 11 goals against Edmonton, give or take, if I'm not mistaken. The highlights are there. If you want to go on YouTube, look at the Leafs Nation YouTubes that are there, like from the 24-hour channel. Again, I look at that 1986 season, and like I said, he was the unheralded star of that era. You had Vive, you had Dorlego, you had Anderson, you had everybody else, but Freecher, again, talent to burn. But if he would have stayed in Quebec, I hate to tell you this, ladies and gentlemen, I think Quebec would have won the Stanley Cup, because when they knocked off Montreal in 82, I think that was a big mistake, because when they made it all the way to the semifinals after beating Montreal, they could have easily gotten the Stanley Cup final. I think that cost them at least 2 cup finalists. And, mistakes are happening. I don't even know why they traded him, but it's not for me to say, but I think it has to do with the fact that they were expecting more of him. That makes any sense? But, who can understand the Canadian teams back in the 80s? Look at the trades Montreal Canes did. It made no sense. Anyway, for all the family and friends and colleagues of Miroslav, my condolences. Within the media in Canada, we really respected him. I know he had a lot of off-ice issues, seen or unseen. We knew that when he showed up to play, he was going to bring that very, very strong Czechoslovakian kind of hard-working style, playmaking, goal-scoring, not a rah-rah guy, but tough. There's not one Czechoslovakian player from the 70s and 80s that wasn't tough, because the rivalry was Russians 24/7 at the Worlds and at the European level. And boys, oh boys, when you're going against your communist bosses, you got to be tough. So for him, rest in peace, my friend. But we have all the great video of your great time with Toronto to look back on. And I would say to any young player who wants to learn how to play hockey, to look at Miroslav and see his style, especially the European and Canadian players, because he had a lot of fans in Toronto. I mean, all the years he played, again, he is the forgotten, I'm not going to say super duper star, but a superstar. You cannot score 57 goals in the hockey hotbed of Canada in that era and not be a star. Because, every time he announced his name, I mean, the fans loved him, all I can say. And he liked him in Quebec too, at the Coliseum. My God, he would chant his name. I know that for a fact, because some of my family went to games when he was playing. He'd chant his name. And he was very loved in Frankton too. Have a good day. Bye.